This is a pair of IK Multimedia iLoud micro monitors called the Micro Monitor Pro. It's the second version of this monitor speaker that this company has made. It's a lot more than a desktop speaker, which is what it looks like, right? Let's be frank, a lot more than that. But it's got a twist that's blown my mind at this price point. So I'm going to tell you all about that in this review. By the end of it, you'll know if they're right for you. Let's take a closer look at them then. So they are, as you can see, a small form factor speaker. They are in a molded case, very similar to the previous ones, I have to say. It's very little difference to the look of them. They have this stand on the bottom, which makes them easy to stand up and have them pointing up at you when you've got them on a desk that you're set at. So far, so similar to before. Other features that are similar to before, they've got a power input here that doesn't need a transformer brick. They've got the transformer built in, which is really nice. They've got a choice of inputs, XLR or RCA. Notice there's only one because these are individually sold, individually powered and individually amplified. So you would send the left-hand signal to the left-hand one, the right-hand signal to the right-hand one. But more than that, they are bi-amplified. And what that means is there's a separate amplifier inside for each of the speakers here. They are 50 watts RMS, which is nice and loud and also nice and honest. RMS is the actual audio volume you're going to get out of them, and so giving us that figure gives us a far better idea as to how loud they go than some speaker manufacturers that will say, hey, they're 120 watts peak power, which basically doesn't mean anything. So these are 50 watts RMS. That is the true power output of them. Take it from me, they're loud. I mean, they're from a company called iLoud. You'd kind of expect that, wouldn't you? But that's always been the case with this particular design. They've always been nice and loud for their size. I mean, that's the overriding thing here. They sound really good. They go down to 20 hertz and up to 20 kilohertz. Down to 50 hertz and up to 20 kilohertz with just a variation of 2 decibels, which is really good for a speaker of this size. And that's all because they're well designed, but they've got a DSP in them as well. And the DSP is a computer which makes sure that they sound better than they have any right to sound at this size. Again, this is all stuff which is pretty standard at the very best monitors at this kind of price point, but it's in these nice small ones. Now they've got tweaks here for mid-range, for high frequency and low frequency, for extending the low frequency, and also for setting them to a desktop mode. And that is all kind of subtle changes to the equalization that you can do just at the tap of a button. It's not the same as having a proper bass and treble control or all that stuff, but it's enough to just tweak them very quickly for tapping a button for any particular circumstance. However, what's different with these is that they've got a USB socket. So what might that be for? And what does this arc mic thing that's written here mean as well? Well, that is the twist with these speakers, and that's what I want to talk to you about now, because they come with one of these. Looks like a little water pistol or something, doesn't it? This is a calibration microphone. Now this comes with this company's far more expensive speakers, but this is now provided when you buy 2 of these in the box with this speaker. They don't actually provide the XLR socket you need to plug it into the XLR socket on the back of the speaker. And that's kind of giving the game away here. So you need to get that cable. That's giving the game away here because this allows you to calibrate the speaker to make it sound really good. So the idea is that you set them up in any position. So it could be in a difficult room, it could be in a hotel room, it could be at your friend's house where you've gone to produce some music or whatever. You set them up and then you plug this into the back of the speaker, and from the back of the speaker you press a button and you use this microphone in the position you'll be listening to the speakers in, and it calibrates the speaker using the digital signal processor to make it sound as good as possible. You move over to the other one and you do it on that one as well, and hey presto, your speakers are going to sound better. Now honestly, it's subtle. Don't expect big changes here, but the whole point here is if you're making a DJ mix or if you're producing a track, then you want to make sure that what you're hearing is something you can trust. You don't want it to be coloured too much by the room so that when you listen to that on another set of speakers or on your headphones or in your car, you missed something, right? Because the speakers kind of weren't showing it to you. And this allows the speakers to sound as transparent and as good as possible in compromised settings. And let's face it, if you're using a tiny monitor speaker like this, you're probably in a compromised setting, because if not, you'd be in a big plush studio with much bigger, better speakers, right? So it's really good to see that on speakers at this price point. And that is the big difference between this and the one that came before it. Now let's talk a little bit more about that USB on the back, because to me this is a strength and also a missed opportunity, I would say. So let's talk about that. So they both got them. I mean, these are identical speakers. You can buy them individually. They've sent us the pair along with the microphone, right, which you can also buy. So obviously they're identical. Obviously they've both got a USB on the back. They come with a USB cable that you can plug it into your computer. Why would you do that? Because when you register with IK Multimedia using the registration serial number on the card in the box, they give you some software which comes to allow you to do more with that DSP and with that microphone than you can do just by plugging it in and doing it away from a computer. It's called X Monitor software. And the two big, we've looked at this separately before, by the way, because it works with the company's other speakers as well. But the two big things that the X Monitor software gives you is it gives you a more thorough way of using that calibration. So you can see the calibration before and afterwards. You can press a button and quickly flick between the two. You can recalibrate for different rooms and keep it saved and all that kind of thing. So it kind of gives you a fuller experience when you're just using the microphone to calibrate the speakers. But more than that, it has emulations for other types of speaker. And so that means within the confines, within the boundaries of a speaker this small, you can make your speakers sound like things like car speakers and phones and things like that. So again, it's a nice way. If you're producing on a computer anyway, or you're using a laptop and you're DJing and the laptop is there, by plugging these in as well and having this software there, you can change how the speakers sound and you can make them far more useful, as I say, by emulating other speakers that you've got in that software, which is pretty good at this price point for this kind of speaker. So that's the X Monitor software. It's not necessary to use it, but it does add another layer to it. I want to talk to you about my personal likes and dislikes about these. I've used these a lot here in the Digital DJ Tips studio. We actually have a pair of these, the older ones, tucked under this very desk here, which I use for the kind of quieter monitoring when we are demonstrating DJ gear to our students at the school and so on for our lessons. So I know these speakers quite well. And as I say, I've always liked them. But let me just give you some pluses and minuses of these, talking a little bit more about the changes they've made to this one. So the pluses, they do sound even better than before. The digital signal processor and all that stuff, they've managed to make them sound even better. I love the fact that you don't need a transformer. I hate having a transformer and a power brick where you plug in this flimsy little plug into a socket. I much prefer having a standard socket on the back so that you can just plug any cable in there to get power into them. And they are truly compact. I mean, they really are, aren't they? You can stick them in a bag and take them anywhere. I mean, this is all really good stuff. I think they should have provided an XLR cable for this, because we unpacked them and we're like, oh, wait, we haven't got a microphone cable nearby. You know, I'm sure a lot of people will be in the same boat with that as well. The USB on the back, said I would talk about that. I think they've missed a little trick here, because these speakers are the kind of speakers that you could use in professional circumstances, but also as a consumer, right? You could have them as your only speakers with your computer. The best computer speakers nowadays will have a built-in audio interface, and you can plug in a USB cable, and then you don't have to worry about plugging the computer's audio somehow into the speaker. I think that would have been nice to have with these. That would have made them more of an all-rounder. And while we're talking about it, having Bluetooth on them might have been quite nice as well for that, you know, that time when you just want to quickly play a track off your phone into them. They'd have made them more of an all-rounder rather than a shrunken professional speaker, which is effectively what they are. So it would have been nice to see that. Also, I'm going to fess up here, not even fess up, just tell you the truth. There ain't no way little speakers like this will give you tummy rumbling bass. There just isn't. So I'm not going to pretend that they will. Don't believe anyone who tells you that they will. They can't. It's physics, as Scotty out of Star Trek might once have said in a previous life. But that said, they do sound incredible for the price. If you have to have a small speaker because you haven't got room for bigger speakers, or you know you're going to be taking your speakers to different places, these are a great speaker to go for, because they give you not only the portability and the quality, but they give you the ability to immediately make them sound good using this microphone and pressing a little button on the back anywhere you might be. And should you have time to set them up better and use the software, it opens up a whole new world which just hasn't been available on speakers of this size anywhere before. All of that makes these great value if you are looking for something better than small computer speakers, but you don't have any more space in your setup for bigger devices. They are $560 for the pair, which also gets you the microphone, factoring buying an XLR cable to plug them in as well, although you do get the USB cables to plug into the computer. And the X Monitor control software is free when you register them. They are the IK Multimedia iLoud Micro Monitor Pros, and this has been the Digital DJ Tips review of them. There's a write-up of this over on the website. If you enjoy this stuff and you want to learn more about how we teach DJing, then head over to that website, digitaldjtips.com. Click the join button in the top right-hand corner and become our latest member. It's free. Until next time, from me, Phil, here in the studio, get good, get out there, make the moments. See you again very soon.